I'm building the boiler so far, and this is how I kind of size it. I take every piece off like this every time it doesn't fit properly, and then I just slide it right in, make sure all the wires are in, and we're getting closer, just a little more at a time. And then once that is partially complete, we leave that to a side, and then we get another soda can. Now what I'm going to make next is the base where it lays on here flat. And I'm going to mark it to where to cut it out. You can use any marker, but any marker doesn't matter. Then once you do that, you cut it all out with a straight line. And test fit. That seems to be good. Then once you do that, you could take a chunk out of it by doing this. And always see if it's lined up correctly. If that doesn't fit, then cut more off. It's alright if this gets long, because all you can do, right, is put line right here. Doesn't have to be too accurate, because cut off the excess, because that'll be too much. Then once you do that, slide it back in, test fit again. If it works, then you glue it in, which in our case, it's getting closer, so we're gonna cut a little more. And if it fits decently, then that's pretty good, because it's a work in progress. Like so. Line it up, and then cut where it needs to be. And then take this out, and then get your tweezers or clothespins or whatever you have for the same reason to get some glue. Once you're ready, you just glue right here. Take as much glue as you think you need, and then we're going to put it in. This is kind of tricky right here. Tilt it to its side to do this. Sometimes I struggle with this. And then do more tweezers to make the even dryness, which means be on there as possible, which is why you need more than one tweezer. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, and what we're going to do is put the boiler on, but we're going to cut it down to size so it can fit over this weight right here. The project is probably close to done. I'm not really certain, but we'll see.
Cut a little right here, on the edge.
Well, I made a mistake right here. I thought I had the right piece, but it turns out it's not long enough. Checking to see if this is correct, or more, is this the right length? Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to extend this right here for a little bit, and then I'm going to glue the piece on and then continue. I made this piece right here. This is supposed to fit right in, which it does. And then the next thing what I'm going to do is glue it right in. Hard to get out. And then slide it right in until it somehow connects. Then what you're going to do is get your tweezers and clamp. Yeah, and you can take it off as well to make it easier, which that always does. make it easier. And another, there we go. And wait for that to dry, and then we'll move on to the next thing. The front part of the locomotive, which I did make, if I could find it. We're gonna put this in front of the locomotive, or we could put this on, which I think I might do. This part. So we're gonna wait for that to dry and then put them on. The way how I made this piece is actually pretty simple. All you gotta do is bend to the edges of the lead, which that's where it is, and then you just cut right here, and then that's what I did right here. And then we're going to do some touch-ups. I'm liking how it's coming up so far, so we're going to make the smokestack a tiny one, and I have this roof cab. And then once that's all good and done, we're going to take the shell off and we're going to spray paint it. Now once we do that, we can get something like this and curve, which works pretty easily, and then you just curl it some more and some more. And then basically cut it for the right size you want it to be. Like this. Then once you do that, put it like this so it can be a little nicer, and then put it on the tray and glue it. And what I did for this piece right here is I slide a piece of metal that probably about that thin right in there, and then, well, actually I cut it down to size first, and then I slide it in a decent way. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good to me. We're gonna paint it after everything's drying. I think everything is finished, and then once I do that, the cab is gonna be painted separately, so that I can add details to make it easier before I glue it on permanently. And the tender will be the same thing. And I accidentally glued the wheels on to the frame because some glue dripped from this shell to the frame, which happens to other my locomotives, and they all been fixed pretty well, and I think this one will. Yeah, so when this is all dried, I'm gonna paint both of these and then put striping on them, and yeah, they'll be finished with an Amtrak logo.